Right, now we're going to proceed on to our first panel discussion for day 3 of INFOCOM CIO and security track over here. But before we do this, a little few announcements here, which is absolutely a necessity. I would request all our delegates who are present in the room to kindly register yourself at the registration desk, which is down there at the art gallery. And please do connect your badges, which will give you access to the conference events and other happenings, including the lunch and dinner. Once again, requesting all of you, please do not leave your bags and belongings unattended at any point of time, as the organizers have taken the general security, have made arrangements for the general security, but we do not and rather cannot take responsibility for your personal belongings. And a very, very important announcement to all our delegates and guests sitting over here. Please do not switch off your mobile phones. I repeat, please do not switch off. On Facebook, as you can connect to us as INFOCOM Connect, please do like our page and follow us to get the updates. On Twitter, you can follow us at INFOCOM Connect. You can please join us on our conversations and tweet about INFOCOM and share your experiences with hashtag digital transformation at INFOCOM, and INFOCOM will be in the capital letters. I repeat, hashtag digital transformation at INFOCOM and hashtag INFOCOMCal17 in caps. You can again find us in LinkedIn and follow us at INFOCOM Connect as well. For the mobile app, you can download our mobile app, INFOCOM Connect, from the Google Play Store for the Android users. And for the iOS users, you can download the app INFOCOM Connect from iOS App Store to stay tuned to the conference. Once again, requesting all our guests, please do not switch off your mobile phone. Stay connected with us. And I guess we are absolutely ready for our first panel discussion, which is going to be talking about maintaining a digital trust in the age of bots and APIs. And for this, may I please welcome on the dais our first panelist for the session, Ms. Maya R. Nair, the head of Information Security Idea Cellular Limited. On the dais, please can I have a round of applause? And please help me introduce her to you. Ms. Nair is an information security and data center infrastructure professional with more than 20 years of experience spanning across telecom, BFSI, manufacturing, and academic segments. Her corporate life began with Larsen & Toubro Limited. She has also worked with CIBIL, Reliance Jio, and currently holds the head information security position with Idea Cellular. During her stint with various organizations, she was instrumental in setting up IT infrastructures from the scratch, complete revamp of existing data center infrastructures, setting up of a DR site, conducting DR drill, and managing business continuity end to end. She was also the flag bearer for information security in her respective organizations. Can I please invite our second panelist for this session, Mr. Shiju Rawther, Head of IT Infrastructure and Security Operations, TransUnion CIBIL Limited. Can I have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And please help me introduce him to you. He's an experienced IT infrastructure and security professional with more than 17 years of experience, successful and steady career growth in reputed organizations like SIFI Limited, Primus Telecommunications India Limited, Wipro Infotech, Gateway Terminals India, PCS Technology Limited, Fullerton India Credit Company Limited, and currently with TransUnion CIBIL Limited. Currently, he's also heading the IT infrastructure and security operations for TransUnion CIBIL. He leads the digital cyber forensic team for TransUnion CIBIL for investigating any data breach or attempts. He has succeeded in positioning the technology function as a business transformation initiative, with major contributions in security technology implementations focusing on protection, prevention, monitoring, and alerting. He has led end-to-end design, implementation, and of security infrastructure at TransUnion CIBIL Limited. Please help me welcome our next panelist for this session, Mr. Sebastian Joseph, Executive Director, Information Management from Dalmia Cement, Bharat Limited. Can I have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And if I introduce him to you, please allow me to do so. Mr. Sebastian Joseph currently heads the SAP GST initiatives for Dalmia Cement Bharat Limited for the entire cement business. Prior to this, he was heading IT function for Dalmia's South Cement business spread across Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Maharashtra. He has more than 30 years of multidisciplinary experience in the information technology arena covering government, software consultancy, software marketing, software development, software exports, computer education, pre-press manufacturing, e-learning and advertising and communication verticals. And to chair this session, please help me welcome Mr. Partha Sengupta, Vice President IT of ITC Infotech India Limited. Thank you so much for the applause. Mr. Sengupta has more than 22 years of industry experience in managing diverse IT solutions for various business verticals like banking and finance, stock exchange, automobiles, ITES, FMCG, manufacturing, travel, and hospitality, consulting firms, etc. Mr. Sengupta heads IT shared service that runs key business applications for various business verticals. He has been instrumental in design, implementation, and sustenance of state-of-the-art IT infrastructure. Some of his past engagements include storage and network virtualization, setting up of a private cloud, mobility solutions, captive SOC, and so on. His domain expertise includes information security, servers and storage, virtualization, and networks. May I please now request Mr. Sengupta to kindly take the session forward.
Good morning, everybody. So, while Bagis was giving a presentation, deep dive in dark web and all, so I did a deep dive with him, and I found it out that my 3 co-panelists are Malwalis. So I'm the only Bong here in this panel, and 3 Malwalis I have got with me. So anyway, beside this point, let me start. There's a fantastic topic what we have got, is that there are 3 important points in this topic. One is cybersecurity, one is API, one is bot. So, that I will start with the topic which is very close to my heart, which is cybersecurity. Is that we got a deep dive in dark web, and still today, the kind of maturity what we talk about is that we still get affected with WannaCry. That's the WannaCry kind of an effect, which should not come to us even at this age where a basic patch management, which is a basic requirement of the industry, we don't even fulfill that. And still that we are also talking about, that going a deep dive into the dark web. Okay, so these are all 2 different scenarios where we live in. So, so for me to give an introduction, how, that almost everybody knows about API, how, how API works. So I would like to give an example, which I think it's an 11:20 a.m. that if you go to a restaurant, we'll ask for the grilled fish for a non-vegetarian, of course, a grilled fish with, with sauce, with smashed potato and all, and we see it in the menu card, we ask for it, and it gets delivered to us. API is a similar kind of a service. Look at the menu card, what you are looking for, it will get service to you. Today, that we are exposed to Google Maps, we are exposed to Facebook, we are exposed to Twitter. People are exposing their important piece of code to the world so that it can be consumed and it can deliver better services out of those APIs. And in all the panels since last 2 days and all, we have been hearing most of the panelists has been giving an example of Uberization, Uber as an important component and all in our daily life, in digitalization story and all. They would have not come up without using an API like which would have consumed the apps like Google Maps and all. They have also consumed. It is beside the point, that they have come up with their own API after consuming it for so many years. Now, The importance of API is there. Every corporation, every website will consume one API today or others. Now, and the topic is very important that where we have to look at that how to secure those APIs. This is my panelist is going to talk about it. Second area which we have got, the bot as one of an important element which is coming in our life is it's like this, that there are manual processes which was there in our life. We are trying to automate this process. If anyone can help me, that what we did in IT world, that's one of the most common tool which you have used few years back, even a decades back, which was actually help us to do a process automation, which is within Excel, we use macro. In my view, that is one of the small example where everybody who use Excel, who use macro, and they did some amount of automation in their own area. Today, what is happening? So it is like, that today we have got critical enterprise application. So people are doing, one of the guy who is coming out from college, who is a mechanical engineer. Beside the point, that whoever has attended, yesterday's sessions, we conduct, a lot of companies conduct hackathon, we also conduct hackathon. I was a judge last year in a hackathon, and we found it out that, that there are college students who are like mechanical engineers, electrical engineers around, are creating fantastic softwares. At second year, third year of their career are creating fantastic softwares and are talking about those automation, etc., etc. Now they are coming back and joining in the mainstream industry. They're not joining an IT company. They are not joining an IT function. What they are telling, what they are going back to the IT community and telling that your enterprise applications, what you have, can you spare me, can I consume one API? Now they take some of the data out I need it for some purpose. They will take that, they have Excel, they have got Power BI, they have got access within their own internal machine, and they'll create their own shadow application within their own laptop, which after some time becomes a critical component within their own business application, within their own department. Now once it starts happening, what happens? We create automation in their own business pocket, and then it starts proliferating. It is extremely difficult to manage. And also there is a challenge that so many applications, there are, so many such applications which has come and people adopt, the guys who are coming out of college, they adopt those technology. Maintaining that, it becomes a challenge for us. Now I have a question back to Sebastian, that, Sebastian, that we have been, that using such application and adopting such new generation of technology. We are seeing every 6 months there is a new generation of technology coming. How to embrace those technologies, like, that whether to embrace immediately, wait and watch, how to go about it?
Yeah, so I would try to bring in the, the business angle, because I'm sure, my fellow three panelists are experts in terms of security and they would do a deep dive as far as that is concerned. Now, we all know that necessity is the mother of invention. The way businesses are going, they're getting disrupted, they're getting transformed. So if you look at a business transformation, I would look at it, there are 4 pillars to it, 4 key pillars. The first one is a digital transformation. A classical example could be in Uber, right? Now we all, I'm sure we would have used Uber maybe in India. Ola is slightly popular than that. But what is it that Uber or an Ola is giving us? It is actually giving us ride as a service, okay? So these are the 2 key things. So the way they've digitally disrupted is by understanding that they need to provide ride as a service, and then they're giving an offering. Now there would be something very interesting coming after this, which I'll share a little bit later. So the first part is your digital transformation. Now obviously if you want to digitally disrupt, it cannot be done as a standalone. You need to have a lot of support for that. So obviously the next in line is what comes is your IT transformation. So when you say IT transformation, it means that you need to automate, you need to transform your existing operations, bring in much more efficiency. Today practically if you look at from the IT perspective, almost everything is software defined, be it be a network, be it be a data center, be it be, I mean, whatever you want to look at it, maybe the storage and so on and so forth. So that disruption is happening. So this helps in terms of, supporting your digital disruption. Now, having had the digital disruption and the IT transformation, the third and the most important piece is your workforce. So your workforce needs to be transformed. Today, a workforce work is no more a place. It is an activity. Like even today sitting here, although I'm much away from my office, I'm still accessing my phone. I'm still doing some work. So it is a particular surveys prove that 2/3 of the entire business task force do business from home. Almost 60% do business even after office hours. So obviously they need to be transformed to support the digital journey, the digital transformation journey. And the fourth and the most important piece is the security transformation. Today there is no perimeter because we are just scattered everywhere. It can come from anywhere, and the biggest attacks come from within your own, endpoints. So unless and until these 4 pillars are taken care of, you cannot have a business transformation. Now look at another example of, say, Nokia. Now, Nokia disrupted the market in terms of your cameras, right? And then the entire Kodaks of the world or the physical cameras in that earlier avatar got killed. Nokia came in. Now it's a very interesting question. What happened to Nokia? I'm sure all of you know, right? It's almost died its natural death. Why? Because iPhone came in and changed the entire game. What was the game? Nokia believed in everything inside. So I'm sure most of you would have know and agree that there used to be a model, if I'm not mistaken, it was the E25 or the E35, which was the epitome of the cell phone, because everything was built inside that. What iPhone did, it took everything out and made the entire thing into the software part. So hardware was irrelevant. The features, everything was built on the software part. That is the digital disruption that has come. So whatever we're talking about in terms of the APIs, what Partha mentioned as far as the bots are concerned, so unless we have a business transformation strategy saying that this is what I would like to address, you may have any of these things because these would keep on coming in, after every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or whatever it is. So as long as you do not have that particular strategy and then how to adapt these into your strategy, then only, you can take the business forward.
Very important discussion that how to adopt technology. And with that, I would also would like to highlight only one area wherein, that we yesterday we heard about, that industry 4.0. We heard about, that how cyber physical asset, that an assets which are connected to an IT world, and with digital twins, like, that your physical asset, which is your manufacturing factory, which is getting converted to with inside your PC, inside your server, like, and whatever technology you would like to apply, you apply with an API, with a bot, your IoT is communicating with that, your data is getting transferred. Then lot of automations, lot of technology changes which is happening today. With that, that we have heard. Now we have got Maya, who is from telecom industry. Is that today telecom industry is not about only phone calls. It is all about data. They are actually using movies. They are actually using songs. They are actually song as a service. They are giving TV as a service. How APIs are helping them to transform this journey. This is one of the very important area, if you can highlight that how we are using API to transform your data journey.
As you rightly mentioned, telecom industry today is not about voice per se, it's more of data. Because if you look at the penetration, it has increased because of data, I should say. And it's again not the raw data that we're providing, it is the services in terms of, say, news, magazines, chats, movies, songs, and everything put together. So it's not, these services are not rendered from the same service provider. We have a multitude of service providers and partners who help us in providing these services to the subscriber. So, and you know, the way in which the telecom industry is transforming today, things happen overnight, things change overnight. And in order to keep pace with the competition, you need to be really fast in it. So when you look at it, you don't have the fancy of time to have a setup with a partner. You establish a VPN tunnel and then you allow them to communicate. No, you cannot do any of it. You should have a platform which is readily available. You just add certain piece of code overnight and they are able to consume it, they are able to connect and start rendering services. So without API, it becomes almost impossible to keep up with the pace of the business that it is demanding today. So when we look at the APIs, we have a host of APIs we expose to our partners. We also consume a lot of APIs that partners expose for us. So this has become a real business need that you are on a platform of API. Okay, at the same time, it doesn't come without its due difficult part in terms of managing. So from the business point of view, it is an absolute necessity. At the same time, you have to be cautious about it.
One question I had to use is that your business model will actually evolve around data services, around the additional services what you consume. The API you are telling is playing a very pivotal role in establishing those businesses for you. Now, since you will consume a lot of services from the web for your partners, you specifically mentioned that partner, that how do you ensure that, that how you're ensuring security for those APIs in your own organization?
Yeah, that becomes really crucial because you can't simply expose your APIs without having a very strong consideration about what exactly are you exposing and with whom are you exposing it. Even though it will be a set of empaneled partners who may be semi-trusted, I should say, you don't have a clear understanding of what is actually happening on the other side. See, within your corporate, you know what an employee can do, what kind of security controls you have on their laptops, what they can do, they cannot do. Say, for example, within your organization, you might not have given an administrative access to an end user. So even if they wish to do something, they may not be able to do much. While with a partner, you don't have a fair idea what kind of controls they have at their end. And at the same time, you're allowing them a sneak peek into your system. You're allowing them to connect to certain corporate assets, maybe certain corporate data, some part of your data center. So you don't have a very clear idea. And many times you can't even go back and ask a lot of questions to a partner because then you're losing time in those to and fro communication which is happening. So what we must do is we must have a strong framework at our end which takes care of the development, the considerations that you need to do from the development stage because it has to be a secure coding practice that you follow. And that is a discussion in itself. And also you look at when do you expose the API? Sometimes you need that API only for some time. Maybe it's a promotional campaign which is running for, say, 2 days time. You do expose it only for those 2 days and it should go down on the 3rd day. So you make sure that only the relevant ones are available and only for that relevant period of time and only to the relevant parties and not to anybody else. You should also be extremely cautious when you do the testing of the API because for an internal application, sometimes you think that, okay, the critical ones we'll take care of, the high medium we will take care of maybe later on. If it's an internet exposed application, a web application, you will say that, okay, the critical and the high ones we will fix, without which you may not go live, but we will leave out the medium and low for a later time. With an API, you cannot do that. You have to be extremely careful. You fix all the vulnerabilities that are detected, only then you go live. So when you develop it, make sure that you sort of allot fixed time even for the security testing and the fixing also. Otherwise, you have a time pressure to go to launch. The go-to-market time periods are extremely low these days. So you make sure that there is enough time which is provided for testing, for fixing, and for retesting. Then you go live. So it has to be taken with an absolute criticality from the security testing point of view. And monitoring of the application, the APIs should also be there. Because suppose you have APIs, you thought maybe it will be useful for a year's time. But if you think that it's not being consumed by anybody, pull it down. Don't keep it there for a long time.
Okay. So, Shiju, you come from, CIBIL. CIBIL is a credit score company. So if you are giving a credit score to some individual and all, you must be having a lot of connections with a lot of banks and all who provides information to you, and you also exchange information with the bank and all. How you are using API in your context, and how it is adding value to your business?
First of all, good morning to everyone. I know this is Saturday, being Saturday morning, sitting down in a conference room is a tough time. And thanks to Partha for all the views what he has given for bot and API. To coming down to the question about the API and the bot, I would just want to take it some backside of the technology which has evolved. So if you see, these technologies have come from the part of innovations. And why the need of innovation was there? Because we were impatient. So if you see today, if you want to get a money from the bank in the earlier days, what we used to do, we used to go to the bank physically, we used to deposit the check, or we used to give the paycheck them to give us back the money. But today, what's the time? We are impatient. We want the money where we are. So if you are traveling, we want to get the money and get dispense from the ATMs. But all of things, if you see, the ATM which has come a couple of years back has failed, because the reach out to the ATM for the people of age generation gap failed, because people who are educated, they only know how to dispense the money out from ATM. There the innovation came, the bot came, wherein you go to the ATM, if you don't know how to dispense money, it will spell out, it will speech out to you. Click on this, withdraw the money. So that's how the innovation has come today. If you see, evolution on this part has come more from API and bot. So if you want to go for any loans today, what you do? There are a lot of fintech companies wherein you can go and see. You can go and see the online tractions wherein how the products are being offered on terms of the loans. So there's the bot helps you out in terms of selecting the right products or right interest rates or right organizations from where you can take the loan. All of it's automated, and incredibly it's linked to the API, which connects back to any of the credit scoring company. What they do, so say suppose for a loan, in couple of years back when you wanted to take the loan, you have to wait for around 3 to 4 weeks. That was the period. You have to submit your documents, you have to wait for the approvals, then the check may come or it may come into the bank. But today it's 2 minutes loan. So there are a lot of fintech and finance companies who offer the loans for 2 minutes. That's where bot and API play a vital role. So bot helps you to automate all those requests, the KYCs and all those products, it's all helped through the bot. APIs connect back to the scoring companies. Scoring companies give the decisioning power to any of the finance company within seconds, the fraction of seconds, and the loan gets approved online. So that's how you see today the credit card, any automotive loans, any of the lendings which comes in the fraction of second. There plays the APIs a major role.
This is fantastic. So you're talking about 2 minutes loan approval and all in your overall process. So once you do that, again, I will go back to the same questions, like how do you ensure information security is built in to your overall cycle so that it can be, it can be trusted as an overall ecosystem, will have a faith in that overall ecosystem. How are you ensuring that?
So obviously, is the innovation when it comes, the technology comes and play a vital role. So as part of technology, we brings in more vulnerability also. So as you grow with the technologies, you will have much more vulnerability and the security threats inside. So it's similar way. If you built a house, if you have a number of doors, you are inviting thieves. So similar way, if you have a number of applications, if you have a number of technologies implemented, you will have the threats also. So given you will have to follow a discipline. So how do we do at home? When we walk away or when we are in home, we lock the door. Similarly, at any of the technology platforms, you have to follow the discipline. Information security is all about discipline, not about implementing only a solution or preventing it. It's more from the discipline. So you should have the governance process wherein you follow all the governance rule. So if you see today for API, the best practices are the 6 pillars which are being followed across the industry. One is as Maya referred, for the development. Obviously, Maya has covered all those platforms. I would reiterate once again. So the 6 pillars, what the best practices are being followed is the API development. Second is the API lifecycle management, which is very much important because today we lag over there in any of the technology. So any technology which evolves, it has certainly and definitely it has got a life cycle, which we fail to do. So today if you see the most of the breach which happens, it's a part of the legacy systems, which we never look after, look behind, which we might have implemented years back. So that's the one part. Third is the access controls. So say for example, if we have a house door, how many of them the keys have been provided? How securely we monitor it? So similarly, the access controls. That's the one biggest part. Third is the API security. API security, obviously, you will have to select the right protocols, right tools, right solutions. So it should not only be a cost factor for developing any tool. So that's the fourth one. Fifth one is the monitoring. So once you put in all these technologies, how effective you monitor that technology is very key essential point. Sixth and more is monetization. So in case if you implement any technology, how good you are making use of it. So unless you are making use of in terms of ROI, you will never see all these 5 pillars which we left behind. So if, for example, if someone is really looking in terms of getting ROI of that product, so probably someone will look for all the 5 pillars, whether it exists in the ecosystem or not. So that's the 6 pillars which are being followed as a best practices for the API as a security platform.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. We came to know about the 6 practices what we should adopt. Now, I would like to go back again to, the Sebastian. It's like that, so we got coined the term of RPA, and there are doubts and discussion which is happening in people's mind that RPA and as well as there is a project which IT as a group can do a software development, and these two have got 2 different connotations. On an RPA side, we have seen that project time to deliver that an RPA project is 3 months, and monetization happens within 1 year, and there's a ROI is a 200% ROI. And if you look at any software development project, normal delivery time is 9 months, and the ROI happens after that 3 years. So this is where is the scenario. And also we have seen, and the IT guys, as I'm also an IT guy, and we are also scared about, how if you do bring in this kind of disruptive technology, is that we are scared about our data center infrastructure, we are scared about our network, we are scared about our security, we are scared about the governance, what he was talking about. In this light, you see that how as an organizational transformation, you are giving an example of Nokia, and we see you are giving an example of camera and all. If you can put a link between these two and say that how this changes are impacting the organizations and are coming up with new innovative solutions.
Again, I will go back to the business side, because I think that is more important as to why we are doing these APIs, the bots or the RPAs. It's mainly because of business and a lot of other things to do. See, the question is not whether your business is going to get disrupted, but when. Okay? How many of you have heard about DBS Bank Singapore? Okay? They have been voted the best digital bank in the world by becoming invisible. You know what that means? They do not have a single physical branch, but still they are a bank. And I think they're number 1 in terms of Asia Pac, or I think Southeast Asia at least. The new CEO who joined, Piyush Goyal or Gupta, I don't get his name right, Gupta I think. is transform that entire bank into where they are today. So it is very clear that if you want to be in the game, you're going to get disrupted, but then when? Is it going to happen today, tomorrow, or the day after? Now, it's a very interesting case study. I mean, I'll request that if you guys can get, your hands on that case study. It's published by the Nair Business School in Singapore. It's available in the asiacase.com. It's an excellent study in terms of how the entire strategy has been built and, how the entire transformation journey has been carried out by touching all these 4 pillars which I mentioned earlier in terms of your digital transformation, IT transformation, workforce transformation, and the security transformation. All integrated, interwoven. Okay? Now today I give another example of Nokia. Nokia disrupted the market in terms of the cameras. But what happened? They became complacent. They forgot the next curve, or they did not even look at the so-called next curve. Apple iPhones came in, they changed the entire game plan because then they were in the next curve. Now today what is happening with DBS Bank? They've recently launched DigiBank in India, where it is, no physical branches. Now they are not being complacent and sitting there. They are adopting the next curve. And this is where I want to bring in the technologies what panelists have been mentioning about the APIs of the world and the bots of the world and the blockchains. Okay? Now I want to bring in a very interesting thought, because right now it is the thought, but I know that there's a lot of work happening in that. Can you imagine, or just imagine an Uber without an Uber? What I mean by that? As I mentioned, Uber is providing you ride as a service. Now to consume that ride as a service, what are the 2 important components you need? I need the driver, okay, who actually will take me places or drive the car, and I need the rider or the consumer. So these are the 2 components I need. I need the rider and I need the driver. Today, what is Uber playing the role of? Uber is playing the role of a middleman. Imagine, and it is going to happen, that Uber is going to get replaced. Uber as an entity. So you're going to get an organization which is what now is being termed as dApps, distributed apps, okay, wherein Uber does not exist. There are no shareholders. Rules exist. Using things like blockchains, you define the rule, and it is decentralized. No single person owns that particular rule, because if somebody owns it, he can change the game. Imagine, this is what the bots and the automations are getting in. And this is exactly what DigiBank, to ensure that they don't miss the next curve, is adopting. There are a lot of instances, I can give examples of bots, both in India and outside, where they are adopting this within the organization. Like what we have done as a cement company in a very small way as a pilot, just want to briefly touch upon that, is that the main pain area for us is the logistics, okay? So a logistics person, be it at any of the region, does not know what is the truck, what is the quantity of cement which is coming into that particular region. If he wants, either you give him a mobile app, okay, he will log into it, or he logs into an SAP from wherever nearest point and then try to understand that. But imagine, most of us use, I'm sure, WhatsApp, or now the Telegram has come, or for that matter, Facebook Messenger and so forth. Imagine in the WhatsApp, okay, he just asks a question. Suppose I'm in, say, Calcutta, okay, how many trucks are coming to my territory? In the back end, what happens is like what Partha was mentioning about your RPAs and stuff like that. It talks intelligently to the SAP system, brings in that particular answer and gives it to you, saying that so many trucks with so much of quantity is there. This is basically an example of a chatbot. It's an intelligent, AI-based kind of a personal assistant, like the ways of the Siri. Siri is exactly an example of bot. It's a personal assistant. So like that you have so many in terms of, travel, payments, like WeChat in China. You can make payments using bots. You don't have to use a net banking or, for that matter, any banking app. So this is the next curve.
Oh, very good. You know that we heard about the next curve. You know that he told two important things. I would like to clarify this for everybody's mind. I'm sure everybody is aware about that. He talked about use of AI and all in business in the context of our using bot. The RPA and bot are two different words, and they have got two different meanings. Cognitive computing, which can deal with natural language, which can deal with context, which can deal with subjectivity, is not there in RPA. I'm just giving for clarity so that that we are all on the same page. So RPA is all about how do I manually, what we were doing manually, how do I adopt those manual processes back to an automated tool. But once we talk about cognitive, when you talk about context, when you talk about natural language processing, when you talk about artificial intelligence, we can bring in those technologies back into our AI, with our AI solution, and can bring in and merge with our bots. This is also possible. But today, I'm telling you, people, what we hear from our CIO friends when we communicate with them outside, they're all in silos. They are coming up with small, that are running small RPA projects. They are doing they are doing little applications which is suiting their own business departments. There are specific business departments are running, and people have got, every organization will have an agenda of innovation. Every department will have an agenda of innovations. And then in that department, one guy, which is little IT savvy guy, will be running an innovation, will be creating a bot for them, which is that robotic process automation technology. And they will come up with that BI of Microsoft, which was telling, with Excel, with Access and all, and they'll say, I have championed that. And one application gets created. But what we are seeing as a maximum usage of this technology is in the area of identity and access management. So I'll go back to Mira, that that telecom as an industry is going through a huge challenge. Bottom lines are down heavily, and there is a lot of struggle, turmoil, which is happening across the telecom industry in India. Now, there will be a lot of pressure. Whenever there is a turmoil in the business and industry, there will be a lot of pressure. Even with the IT and all, there will be budget string. People will have a pressure. How do you help? How IT is going to help to reduce my overall manpower requirement? And with such community initiatives like INFOCOM and others and all, everybody is aware about RPA. That how, Mira, that my question back to you, how you are using RPA as an tool, or a bot as a tool within your own telecom industry, and how you see adoption of such tools within telecom industry, which will facilitate, operating cost reduction and giving benefit to business. As I said before, that it is giving, all RPA projects are giving 200% ROI in year one. That's known to all, that 200% return first year itself we will get. So how you are adopting that, if you can highlight that for our panel.
Partha, I think you touched a raw nerve. With the competition increasing not day by day, hour by hour, and the profitability reducing, the margins wafer thin, automation is the way to go. It's not only reducing on the manpower per se, but increasing efficiencies, getting things done fast, is forcing us also to get into the area of automation. So if we look at the telecom industry, because of the geographic spread, the huge number of subscriber base, the extremely large employee base, we have a lot of challenges there. And being a legacy system, there are a lot of things which are still manual. But all of us, I would say from the telecom fraternity, all of us are trying to automate as much as possible. I can give you two specific examples where a lot of work is being done, some completed, some in progress. One is in terms of the internal user request management. We have tens of thousands of employees and outsourced employees. I'm sure all the telcos have employee numbers of this range. So there are internal help desk systems in place. So usually it will be a trouble ticket which is raised, maybe sometimes a voice call, sometimes an SMS or an email which gets translated into a trouble ticket number. Then the ticket gets assigned to a particular team or maybe a group of people within a team. And then they will cater to the request, they will resolve it, close the ticket and inform to the user. So we are in a process, or maybe to a large extent we are done with it now, in automating this part. So we don't need anybody to assign a ticket now. The bots will be able to read through, pick up keywords and understand which is the team which is handling it, assign to the team. If there are sub-teams sometimes who will be handling this, this is done. So we are able to reduce the overall time to complete a trouble ticket. I think from a few days we are able to reduce it to just a couple of days. So this is a huge improvement in terms of the size of the help desk which is required. And the operational efficiencies have also increased tremendously, and the user satisfaction, because there is an end user who is waiting there to cater to the needs of a subscriber. So if you're able to reduce on this time, this is a huge achievement when we are able to automate this part. The second part is to help the subscriber, wherein a subscriber may call up a call center to look for the latest deals available, because circle-wise the deals also change. And you're talking about lakhs of subscribers calling to so many call centers. So the call center agents are also able to see the automated script which will pop up telling that this is the kind of customer, and the deals vary with the circle. The deals also vary with the kind of subscriber, the kind of things that they have consumed earlier, but depending on that, the offers will also vary. So the script is quickly able to pop up and so show that, okay, these are the available offers for the subscriber. The subscriber can pick and choose from that. We have not yet done the complete end-to-end automation here, but a lot of progress here, because even today, Indian subscriber would want to listen to human voice. It is possible to do it on a web portal or an app, but there are still a lot of calls that land upon the call centers, and the agents will have to cater to those needs. So here again, we are able to cater to this much faster with the help of scripts or the bots.
Excellent. Just want to highlight what I hear from most of my telecom folks and telecom friends, in the industry. They're saying there were a lot of brokers or agents which are there and all, who is fulfilling those, that Mira, who is fulfilling those. If you want to include one subscriber with you, you have to fulfill a lot of documents and all. Then post that, there is an approval note comes out. This process takes, that I was hearing, this process takes, 1 to 2 days time to fulfill this process. There are a lot of companies are also thinking of doing a process automation, so that, that looking at, the document filled up by the brokers, can you fill it up within half an hour? Can I fill it up per day? Some 500 applications, can I fulfill that and all? That is also people are thinking. Along with that, I'm just, and that actually help, the telecom companies to get rid of a lot of agents who are verifying those forms in terms of completion, whether that can be given, not given and all. That is also one of the trends which I'm seeing in adoption of process automation.
Yeah, right, Partha. This is more or less in place today with the eKYC. We have let go of a lot of paper documentation which is happening. So it's linked to the Aadhaar. You put your biometric details. It does the detailing. Then, of course, a hard copy has to be submitted, which goes on to the repository later on. But a lot of it is already automated. Thanks to the initiatives by Aadhaar, a lot of things are now Aadhaar linked. So we are able to do this verification of the user and the verification from the eKYC point of view.
So Khalida did not give an insurance panelist in this panel. So we were also seeing that a lot of insurance company, the insurance approval note, which is coming as an with RPA, that all the forms which are filled up by insurance companies are today, that 500 form, they were telling that the project turnover time, 500 form is to take 2 days time. Now 30 minutes is the time that 500 forms, insurance forms they are covering, and this has all happened because of RPA. There were a lot of people who were championing, and as in technology, what is important for them, and what they are saying is that insurance, a lot of private insurance companies have gone out of our country and all. A lot of people are coming in and all. This is going on. The premium is not that great, but the opportunity to earn money is, people are telling, is challenging. And approval, they are also trying to do a lot of cost optimization there. With that, they're doing a lot of cost optimization, which is giving them a lot of value in terms of RPA. So now I'll go back to CIBIL, and that it is how process automations and bot as a technology is impacting financial market as well as your industry, which you can which you can tell, which is helping bot as an economy.
So it's rightly touched, Partha. I want to take 3 examples inherently. It's one from financial industry, second from healthcare, third from shipping industry. I'm not sure if anyone is here from shipping industry. The use case of the bots, how they are using it, how it helped them. First, we'll take from the financial industry. It's obviously the bot started from the customer serving experience. So today, as a customers, because we are very close to the banks and any other financial institutions, we do look how it has helped us in terms of any time if you want to talk to any call center person, it was impossible because there are humans who used to serve the technical queries to the customers. But today, if you call them, it's automated. Obviously, it will have a pre-scripted sort of answers, but it helps us in terms of a lot of queries which we may need on urgent basis. So today, don't wait to any human interfaces. Second, if you want to chat and discuss with them, that also helps you to get into that. So these are the most helpful in the customer service performance in terms of financial industry. Second, just coming to healthcare industry, as it's very close to my personal family background, how many of us today see the outsourcing your health performance to any of the company? So that's the next era which bot is helping out. So today what we are wearable devices and all which we track ourselves. But there are organizations which monitor your health completely sitting out one part of the corner of the world. How does it happen? So there are wearable devices which you wear and bots runs on that. APIs also run into that. So how the API comes into the performance, I'll let you know in the second part. So bots monitor your all health parameters and you may have the a la carte sort of services which you can select. What do you want to monitor? You want to monitor BP? You want to monitor your heart rates? You want to monitor your any of other health issues if you may have. So that gets monitored remotely over there. APIs are linked to the ambulance services. So in case if your BP is going high, immediately it will link to the ambulance service and it will reach where you are. So that's kill the time to hospital. Because today, if you see the valuable assets are human life. So that's the technology is evolving more towards helping it out in terms of serving the human life more. So that's one of the best use cases of the bots. Obviously, there are a lot of security threats also which will bring in. Recently, in Pennsylvania, one of the hospital which had 100% automation, it had a ventilator which was monitored over the cloud. That got compromised. It went into the hands of hackers. So what does it mean? Anyone can stop the ventilator and it can compromise to the life of the person who is in the ICU. So I'm saying there are threats also which brings in, but technologies are there which can prevent it. Third, the most important, what I have worked in a shipping company, the bots usage. So I was in a shipping port wherein on average the climate is in between -12 to -15 degree Celsius. Practically human being can't work over there. So the challenges were there for the persons to get and the work into the port area. And especially the ports are meant to be open area. You cannot been sitting in an office on a moderated climate controls and all. So you will have to have in the port, you will have to go to the wharf, you will have to go to the area where you put down the container terminals. So the automation played a vital role over there. Trucks were running on the bot platform, automated trucks. The cranes which were on the wharf to put out the container, put down to the truck, placing down into the right place, all was automated. A port which had only 15 people to run the complete port. Imagine, I'm not sure if anyone from shipping industry, they may know the port which I'm talking about. So I'm saying examples which we may not know. We may only see a couple of examples and we may just ignore because we don't know what's running in the back end. So probably technologies are evolving, it helping us a lot. Obviously technology will bring a lot of threats, but I said earlier also, it's a discipline. How you maintain your discipline in terms of security threats. So it's something like car. You have a car and you have a brake. Anyone can guess and say why the brakes are provided in the car. So brakes are there to accelerate your speed. Similarly, technologies are here to accelerate your business, but security is for controlling. So similarly, brake is for acceleration, controlling your speed. That's the security part plays in the vital role in the technology. So as all technology is evolving, obviously it's not the limit where we are ending with the bots and the APIs. There are many more. Probably it's not covered in this panel discussions. Obviously, I'm hopeful it will be covered in this some or other panel discussion in this forum or the next forum, but it's not ending over here. So that's all from my side.
Yeah, fantastic. You know that what we tried to do is in the forum is to bring in the value of outside in. Outside in, we said that industry adopted outside in. They have exposed their, you know, that Facebook, Twitter, etc. has exposed their own precious code back to the consumers. So hence the same approach of outside in we tried to follow over here. So what CIBIL is doing, what Dalmia is doing, what you know that idea is doing, so that it can ignite thought of ours and see that how do we in our own pocket, how do you adopt such technologies going back to our ecosystem, and while doing so, how do we ensure the security, the 6 components of security, what you know that what were discussed over here in this forum, we'll be able to adopt such principle, we'll be able to come up with an effective solution for our business. So remember that, you know, that all these, you know, that APIs of the world and all these RPAs of the world, this RPAs of the world will give you 200% plus return in year 1. That is going to bring in a lot of value for business. With that, I would like to end this panel discussion. We are open for questions. If there is no questions, we can actually end this panel. So thank you for being with us. There is question? Okay.
Hi, this is Sukanya and I'm representing 10pi Technologies here. So we are an IoT and an industrial automation company. It's a startup. So one problem that we face, like this question is directed to the panel. One problem that we face is that a lot of big brands come to us for their technical know-how or approach us in ways of implementing certain solutions. But once that is shared, there's a disconnect in terms of the deal falling short because the services we provide are not at par with our big name competitions. So I would like some suggestions in terms of how we can bring our services to par with them.
Okay, you are talking about your IP. People who hear your IP will go back with your IP and develop new services around.
Right.
How do you want to protect your IP and get value out of your IP so that nobody will be able to take out your IP and will be able to sell that IP?
Exactly.
It is, you know, that IP is all about knowledge, and knowledge converted to a product will bring in money for you. It is all about monetization. If you can convert your knowledge to money, money means product. And if you can productize it and monetize it, it is extremely easy for you to, to combat with those fellows who are coming big. Now there is a challenge. So to convert a knowledge or a POC or a pilot, which is your thought, to a product requires a lot of money. So it is you need to really look for, if you're convinced on your IP, you have to look for, that our West Bengal government also, there are a lot of forums which are, which funds, there are competition which has happened, top 10 ideas, top 5 ideas get funded regularly, which gives you money to convert your IP and knowledge to a product. Once you can do that, nobody will be able to touch. And also you have to look for 1 or 2 large company where you have to sell your ideas, your prototype, your concept. If one of them adopts, then it becomes an opportunity for you to communicate, even if it is at your own cost, where you will develop a prototype and you will develop a solution around it. It will really help you in terms of communicating value to an external world, that I have developed this solution for this company, how they have monetized it, and this is how we can develop solution for other groups. That is how your VC will have a trust on you. I think there is no single answer to this. I can't give you a specific solution, A square plus B square equal to like this. But that this is how people need to follow this approach of that monetizing your knowledge to a product.
Thank you.
I believe that we can end the session here if there are no more questions. Any queries? I don't think so. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am. And at this point of time, may I now please request Ms. Shuli Bishash, Associate Vice President, Audience Development and Sales of ABP Private Limited, to kindly step up on the stage and present the mementos to our panelists. And a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all of the panelists here. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen,